What's up, guys? This is Sang.
This is Kaivon.
We are the Kaizen method. Today's topic is why it's important to be mindful.
So we're going to talk about what mindfulness is, why it's important to be mindful, and how you can become more mindful by adding a couple of different techniques into your arsenal. So first things first is, what is mindfulness? So I think there's a lot of definitions out there. So Sang, what would you tell the audience what mindfulness is?
So mindfulness to me is having a sense of awareness, right? I think we all have patterns and we all have habits or whatever the case may be, but these patterns and habits gives us either a lot of pleasure and happiness, or it can cause us a lot of pain and frustration.
Definitely.
And I think after a while, like, you'll start noticing you want to lean more into pleasure and less into frustration and pain. So incidents that happen into your life where you're just like, man, it happens again and again and again. So I'll start with a small one, right? Where an incident that always happens where I'm like, oh man, I should really start like changing this habit, right? I have a habit of leaving my wallet in my pocket, and I've noticed in long drives, like, it really jacks up my hip after I do long rides or even a short ride. And I was like, I talked to a friend and they were like, hey, you know that it's really, really bad to have your wallet in your pocket. You can cause hip problems in the future. And I was like, oh no, I mean, I kind of knew, I kind of felt, and it registered to me and it made a connection. And I was like, okay, from now on, whenever I feel that when I'm sitting in the car, I'm gonna take it out of my pocket and I'm gonna put it in the glove compartment. So that's exactly what I did. And ever since then, I got different results and I don't have those problems with my hips anymore.
I think it's really important because first that involved like you being aware of a problem that you had.
True.
Then you needed knowledge of why, because you needed something to push you. Just knowing it doesn't really help, but knowing that it's messing up your posture, and that posture is going to affect your gym, and then your gym's going to affect your job. Then you have more motivation to do it. And the next thing is like becoming like purposeful about awareness of it. Like, all right, at first it's going to be hard to remember that there's something in your pocket when you've been used to sitting on it. But eventually, like, you have to put in the effort. You got to be conscious of it. You got to be aware. You have to be present every time you sit in the car. Be present to make that change. And eventually, it's like you don't even leave your wallet. I used to be the same way. And now when I walk into my car, I don't think about it. I take my wallet out of my pocket and I throw it in. I don't even think about it now. But it took me a year of practicing it to get to that point.
And being aware of it.
Being aware, and it's not always this like fun thing to do when changing habits, but being mindful is more than just that. I think it's, for me, like, mindfulness is being present, being aware. Like, it's like when you make a mistake, not like going a day later, oh, I made a mistake. It's like a minute later going, oh crap, I said something that I wasn't supposed to say. Because the faster you're able to realize that you're doing something you don't like, the easier it is for you to make a change. It's like when you want to take action, the longer you wait to take action, the harder it is to take that action. But right now, right here, if you can take an action, it's going to become easier to make a habit. So being mindful, being aware, and I think, why is it important though? Like, why is it important to be mindful? Like, why should I practice it?
Practicing it because you have to first like you gotta want it, right? You gotta want to make that change. If you're comfortable with where it is and the results that you have, you're not gonna make that change, right? That awareness change. So to do so, like, personally for me, I have like multiple incidents of like me kind of like, okay, I'll give you an example right now, like camera. Like, I sometimes look at you when I'm on the camera, but I really don't take that second to refocus on it. And I know because of the YouTube video that we're creating, you guys are the audience, and I need to talk to you, not to me, right? And before then, I just thought it was a comfortable thing and it didn't really matter. But until that happened, where I'm like, okay, being mindful, like, who's my audience? This is my audience, what it looks like, and you kind of have to be within yourself and outside and present and outside of like what it could be in the future, right? So that's what
I mean. I think being mindful is really important too, because when you're more mindful, like I said, you're able to make changes faster and able to become a better person. Because,
getting your outcome,
being able to step out of your own shoes and see how from someone else's different viewpoint takes mindfulness. It makes you see things from a different viewpoint and becomes more empathetic to other people's needs and what you need to be acting like. If you realize that certain actions of yours could be hurting someone, you're gonna be more mindful of that and be easier to make a change, right? And I think another thing is, like, how can you become more mindful? Because we could talk about mindfulness all day, but it really comes down to taking action and putting it into your life. So I think my favorite way and an easy way for anyone to get started is meditation. It's sitting by yourself in a room for 10 minutes and just closing your eyes. And I think when you first start, it's not even trying to stop thinking. It's just trying to become aware of the thoughts
Yes.
and not following them. Like, oh, that's an interesting thought I'm having. I wonder why that's there. And what that does is it literally creates awareness naturally. So the more you meditate, the more you'll naturally be aware and be able to stop things. Because with meditation, what's going to happen is you're going to have a thought and it's going to trail off and you're going to follow it. And then you go, oh, wow, I just followed that thought, and you're going to come back. And the more you do that, the faster you're going to be able to pick up on when you're having those trails and come back faster and faster. The more you meditate, the faster you come back, and then that translates into your life. With the wallet, it's not going to take you 5 minutes in your car to realize that your wallet's in your back pocket. It's going to take you 30 seconds after a while. Eventually, you're going to do it before you go in the car because you have that mindfulness. But what about you? How do you think you can get more mindfulness into your life?
Yeah, meditation is one big one. And I think it's like you having that moment in time where you're like, oh, you just get this idea and you're just like, oh, I really didn't think about it in that way, you know? And you'll start noticing you'll have more and more of those. So to do that, like I said, you said meditation. Yeah. But even just like right now, like even when you have your first thought where you notice that you can have a different outcome, if you can kind of just be in tune with your thoughts and in tune with like what you're doing, and when you do that, like you'll start noticing like you have a different result, right?
Yeah. I think like what it like best is like being purposely present for a while, and like we said earlier, is taking the time and realizing it's gonna take a little bit of effort on your part, and you're gonna have to put in extra effort in the beginning. Just like anything else, it's like if you want to make a change, you have to in the beginning do a little more than you're supposed to, so your body can get used to it, and eventually habits will take over, like we said earlier, and it'll become unconscious. It'll be a better thing for you to do. So mindfulness will be no longer something you're trying to become. It'll be something that you are. You are just a mindful person.
And it'll definitely like help the quality of your life.
On
like,
every area.
Every single area.
Relationships, and your relationship with yourself, at work, and your job, with your spouse. Because when you're mindful, you're just a better person, because you're not going to be doing things that hurt other people if you're aware that it's hurting someone in the moment.
Yeah.
If you're aware that if you can take an action to better your life, you're going to be more mindful of that, and you're gonna have, I'm not saying you're gonna do it, but you have a better option. You have more availability of energy to go take it.
And change can happen. And when that happens, it's just gonna be you're gonna build up momentum, like you said, and you'll be able to naturally have more of those aha moments, or moments where you're just like, okay, I can see what this does, and I'm gonna change it right now rather than when it already happened.
So real quick, before we end the video, number one thing being mindful has done for you. What is the number one benefit you've seen from being mindful so far?
That's a very good question. Mindful helped. Like one of the biggest thing is break patterns that I have that I build over time, you know, and habits. Yeah, definitely. And I definitely see that like it gave me more control, right? A lot of times I was like, man, things just happen. Like, why does this happen? I stopped asking why. It's just that level of mindfulness is like, okay, you want a different results, you got to think a different way. And that different way actually leads you to that different results. And that result can be more catered towards you if you can start having those moments of awareness in midst of like everyday life and conversation with people, or you know, business, or anything that you need to do every in your busy life.
And I agree with you. I think that being mindful is the same thing. I think the biggest benefit I've seen is it helps me break old patterns that are no longer serving me, and gives me, and again, because I can break old patterns, I have more control. And I have more control gives me more self-confidence. More self-confidence allows me to take more action. More action allows me to have more success. More success allows me to have more fun.
Better quality.
So it just kind of like snowballs, like you said, and it becomes a better quality life, which is the whole point of our channel, the Kaizen method. And with that being said, I think this is a great time for us to end the video.
So once again, we come up with new content every week. We would love you to do us a favor. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Share this with a friend, you know,
and leave us a comment and tell us which one of us do you like better.
All right, peace.
Peace out, guys.